Hello everyone, welcome to today's daily recap. Today is July 26, 2018, and I have some great trades to recap for you. It was an awesome day for me, almost a perfect day. Just had one very small losing trade, but other than that, it was really an awesome day. So I'm excited to talk about these trades here. Let's go ahead and dive in and get started. As always, you can start a free one-week trial with us at kafinvesting.com. All right, let's go ahead and dive in here. These were my trades today. Notice I finished up 12.1%. It was really an awesome day today in rather flat markets. Yesterday was a tougher day for me, so I made sure I came today prepared. Was really happy that I could deliver. It was an awesome day, and I'm going to dive into each and every one of these trades here, what I was seeing, and why I took them. Now, first trade was, I think this was actually the second or third trade. These aren't necessarily in order, but CANG was an awesome trade for us. Bought over the $13 level. This was an IPO today, and as I've said a lot, I love trading IPOs. They are my favorite thing to trade. I've just had unreal amounts of success trading IPOs. I was mentioning in the chat room when I was trading this live on the voice channel that my success rate on IPOs is like 95% or so. My win rate on IPOs, it's just incredible. I don't know why exactly. I just love the pattern, and apparently I don't know. They're good to me, so I love trading these IPOs. So this was a IPO. Notice up here where it says ADR. See how I put that in red? This is the company name, Cango Inc. ADR. If you ever see ADR following a company's name, you automatically know that this is going to be a Chinese stock that is trading shares on the U.S. market. That's what the ADR means. Okay, so keep that in mind. This IPO'd, it actually got halted. Do you see this big green candle? It actually got halted on this candle, which is really unique. I've never seen an IPO get halted on its second candle of trading. Very unique, but you can tell lots of people were jumping in this. This was a very low float IPO as well, only 4 million shares if I'm not mistaken. Anyways, once it pulled back and steadied out, I waited till we saw this $13 level act as resistance. Notice 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 1-minute candles here all got tonight at the $13 level. I went ahead and alerted this as a buy over $13, took profits at $13.52. Excuse me, I actually tried to take profits at $13.45, but I was having an issue with my Thinkorswim platform and it made me 7 extra cents, so I wasn't overly mad about that. But really nice trade. Again, these IPO plays are so hot, tons of eyes on these IPO plays. You want to wait for them to find some intraday levels of resistance. I typically do not like taking IPO plays over high of day, like something like this. I always want to wait and look for this intraday level of resistance to take it over. Ended up getting some great follow through. Ended up hitting as high as 13.65. I took profits at 13.52. I was out. I was done. It was an awesome trade, plus 4%. Like I said, very pleased with that action there. All right, next trade let's talk about I took here was BPI. This was without question the trade of the day. I was so hyped about this. I still am so hyped about this. It was an incredible trade. I bought this here over initially over the $11 level. So I know it says I didn't actually buy over here. I bought this way back over here. Actually, I think it was over here. But anyways, I bought this over the $11 level, and it had kind of a fake out breakout to it. It pulled back. I added it 10.65. My stop loss was 10.39. Look what low of day was, 10.40. Okay, this came 1 cent away from stopping me out. I got in here. And then this red candle is where I added at 10.65. Came within 1 cent of stopping me out. Having your stop losses in the right spot is so critical. And that paid huge for me here on BPI because I was then in double size and this thing retraced just incredibly all day today. Ended up hitting 12.50. I actually went above this. This ended up hitting 12.80 or so. I think highs of 12.81 or 12.85 or so. Incredible action from BPI. I took profits pretty quickly. I said on my first alert that price target was $12. I said I'm buying over 11. We'll add at 10.65. Price target $12. Well, I wasn't patient enough for it. I still took some killer profits on it. Let me go remind myself where I took those profits at here on BPI. I took them at that was an average. So notice it says 11.08. I took profits at 2 different places because I flipped it. That's right. I wanted to talk about this. What I did on my average is I actually flipped it. So when I added at 10.65, that made my average 10.84. Well, when it continued to dip, once my add at 10.65 came back up to 10.85, I sold it at like 10.86, and then I just held on to my one size for this nice retrace, sold at 11.30 area or so. So I left tons of money on the table, but my initial trade plan and alert was a $12 price target. I just wasn't patient enough with it. I got kind of scared here. It was super volatile down when this happened, saved me from getting stopped out by 1 cent. So after I averaged and it came back up, I sold my ad here, basically from 10.65 to 10.86, and it was a good flip, and then I just held one size position for the rest of it. So I flipped that to minimize risk, okay? I averaged down, brought my average down, and then I flipped this size, half of my position here to minimize risk there. That was an awesome trade. Great catalyst on this one. Everything was leaning towards that being awesome. We got in it way before everyone else, came after and pushed it higher. That's my goal, is to get in before the big moves. Okay, VICR. This was my only losing trade of the day. Check out VICR here. There's just one very blatant issue with this, and just looking at this chart, you should actually be able to tell what that is. Volume, 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 volume. Notice how gappy this is. See these gaps? It's just really poor volume. Just looking at this chart, you can tell it has poor volume. I bought it over $60 right here, just in the 4 or 5 minutes in the market open. I had $1.50 of profits at one point, but I was looking for even more, and it ended up coming down. I ended up tightening my stop loss here. Initially, my stop loss, I was going to average down on it and have a stop loss under low of day here at $57.99, but ended up changing plans, tightened my stop loss off, took a very small loss. Very pleased with how I traded that. Even though it was a losing trade, it was a good trade, executed properly, and I'm quite happy about that. Okay, next up, PDD. This was an awesome trade. This is also an IPO. So I traded 2 IPOs today, PDT and CANG. Awesome stuff from PDD. Oh, this is wrong. This is not VICOR Corp. I probably forgot to switch those on all these. So my apologies for that. This is Vicor Corp. This is not Vicor Corp. But anyways, this was a fresh IPO here. I took this over the $26 level. Okay, this IPO'd here at $26, spiked up to $27.50. Excuse me, $27.50, and then it pulled back. And that's when you get this pullback, that's when you start to look for intraday levels of resistance to play this over. Notice this got denied 3 times, really even 4 times. You can include this area. Got denied 4 times at the $26 area. I knew I wanted to be all over this thing, even middle of day. I mean, look at this. This is 1:15 Eastern Time, 11:15 Mountain Standard Time, which is what I'm trading in. I mean, even middle of day, look at the volume and breakout this had. You typically don't see breakouts like this in the middle of the day, but because this was such a hot IPO, this is an IPO out of Shanghai, if I'm not mistaken, but big time Asian IPO here on the U.S. markets. Tons of people were trading it and watching it, and I was able to take advantage of it. I took profits twice on this, and I want to show something really cool. I bought over 26, I took profits at 26.60. Then I bought this 2x size over 26, took 1x size at 26.60. Then I was just patient. I was real patient, and it came down. I raised my stop loss. Once I got in over 26, I raised my stop loss to $25.99. Well, look how well this $26 level of support held, and this is such a textbook example of previous resistance turning into critical support. So notice these levels of resistance here. It got denied at 26. Well, once it broke over that stock, look how it just turns into support. That is as textbook as it gets. So after I took half-size profits here, I tightened my stop loss right underneath that $26 level support, which is where my entry was, and I ended up getting an incredible retrace into day where I took profits at 26.68 on my second size. This was my trade of the day, my favorite trade. It was awesome. Got great follow through. Excuse me. Okay, next up, XLNX. This was a smaller trade, but a nice trade nonetheless. This was actually on my watch list last night. This was an earnings winner. This over here you see on the left side, this was from my watch list. Okay, earnings announced. I mentioned I wanted to get in between 69 and 71. Came pretty close. Was about $1 away from that. But analyzing this, notice that this dropped here before market open. If you ever seen earnings winner, I love dip buying earnings winners, as you guys have seen in my last video. I talked about that. I talk about it all the time because it's an awesome pattern. But notice that the pullback happened way before market open. When you get the earnings winner pullback before market open, that's typically when you see the move upwards out of the open. But it's when you get these, let me pull out my pen here. It's when you get these earnings winners that float up here, and they close kind of near highs, that's when you're going to get the dip to dip on. But in this case, or to buy on. In this case, the dip happened before market even opened, so I should have been more prepared and understood. I should have been more prepared that this was probably going to take off out of the gate because it had already had its pullback. It's already had kind of that profit-taking pullback that we so often tend to see. So good lesson learned though. Next time I could be more prepared. But I still ended up trading this. I bought this over the $75 level. I took profits, I think at $75.60 or so. And then what I ended up doing is I put my stop loss right underneath where I bought, and I ended up getting stopped out on the second half for break even. But it was a winning trade, the first one. I mean, small, yeah, only 0.9% profits, but still good profits nonetheless. It was awesome. Also notice my stop loss was right here. This came within just a few cents of stopping me out on this pullback here before it retraced and ended up working for me. So interesting stuff there from XLNX. It was a winning trade, not huge. It was an earnings winner play. But again, the main thing to learn from this is that because this pulled back prematurely in pre-market, I should have been more prepared. I shouldn't have anticipated that it would continue to dip to me. But, you know, live and you learn, on to the next. Last trade I want to talk about here. Well, no, it was my last trade. Just want to remind you guys, we are doing a social media giveaway, giving away 1 free month in the chat room as well as a free t-shirt. So enter on these on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. You can enter. We'd love to have you in, give away free month. Or if you're a member, I'll give you $100 cash or a free month, whatever you would prefer. And that's going to wrap up my daily recap video. So thanks for checking it out. Hopefully this is helpful. It was an awesome trading day for me today. Lots of fun action after hours today. Amazon released earnings. Great action. Chipotle released earnings, wins. INTC released earnings. They were positive even though stocks trading down. That's Intel. Anyways, lots of fun action. So I think tomorrow, being Friday, is going to be an awesome day for us. I'm very excited to trade. So I'll see you all in the chat room tomorrow morning.